What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching the video. This movie that I'm doing a review on is called Dead Zone. It's a Tubi exclusive. It's a action, horror, sci-fi. It had a little bit of everything in it. It kind of reminded me of an old, the first Predator, where it was sort of like an exclusive team goes in this area and tries to save the day. And so it definitely has an old school action movie feel to it. So it has Chad Michael Collins. It has Michael J. White. So it's got some guys in it that's been in a lot of military movies, a lot of action movies. So it was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll check it out. So the first part of the movie, it starts with like a team getting separated. A guy goes off and then he gets attacked and dies. And it's sort of kind of setting up for what's going to happen later in the movie. The only problem I had with it is they didn't really say any names of what the people were. You kind of had to figure that out like toward the middle of the movie, that the person that died is related to somebody else. They should have been a little bit more forthcoming with the information. Maybe he had a picture of her or whatever. So right off the get, there was a little bit of a story point where it was like I think they needed to elaborate just a little bit more. So after that sequence happens, there's a bunch of, I don't know, about 5 or 6 military guys in like an installation kind of hanging out, and their commander comes up and says that there's going to be a mission. They got to go to this zone where there's a bunch of zombies. They already know about the zombies. It's a point that they told you right away. So it wasn't kind of like they didn't know what they were getting into. They just figured it was a bunch of zombies that was going to be there, and they gave them like these specialized suits that weren't tested beforehand. So it was like the guys right off the bat were like apprehensive, like, you're sending us in a zone with these suits that aren't tested, they're not proven. So there was already some reservations right off the bat. But they gave him a specific instructions, like, we're gonna land you, we're gonna put you here. You gotta go to this hospital. You gotta grab these vaccines, and then we'll meet you at the drop zone. So the guys get in the helicopter or plane, something, and they drop into the area. They see a couple zombies as they're walking through, and then they go to the hospital. They grab these vaccines and say, okay, this wasn't bad. We didn't stir the pot too much. When they start heading out, they start seeing this big swarm of zombies. So they have to fight a bunch of these zombies and everything to try to kind of get out of that situation. They're having communication problems because of these suits that are untested and unproven. So of course they're having communication issues with command, so that they say, hey, we've got these vaccines, it's time to come and get us. So like I said, they reach the hospital having communication issues. As they're fighting, one of the guys gets bit on his arm, and he's about to die, and he's about to turn, and boss, who's the J. Lee White character, says, use one of these vaccines on him. And it's like, well, he's gonna die. It's like, he's gonna die anyway, use one to see what happens. So he gives him the vaccine, and the guy pops up like hey, what's up, everybody? And it was like, wow, okay. I thought it was gonna be like he was gonna pop up and all of a sudden he was gonna have side effects that were gonna jack him up or something. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna wait and see before I pass judgment. But this guy literally was just like, whoop, like Marty McFly in Back to the Future, where it was kind of like, he kissed his mom, and it was like, whoop, hey, what's up, everybody? so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go too crazy with that. So as they're trying to navigate the communications, and they're trying to navigate kind of through to like an area where they can kind of hang out and be safe for the moment. This guy's already been he was already bit, and then he had the vaccine, so they wanted to give him a little bit of time to recover, or if something happened, they wanted to be able to take care of that problem before other zombies came, or infected, which were zombies basically. So as they're doing that, they run into a woman that kind of helps them out with some of the zombies. Her name is Goodman, And come to find out, her brother is the one that got killed at the very beginning of the movie. In the, he gets separated by his crew, and he gets killed. So she establishes that, but like again, it would have been nice to have some sort of picture or him talking about his sister or something to sort of bridge that gap a little bit, because you don't see Goodman until at least a quarter into the movie. So Goodman agrees to kind of go with the guys. They want to try to get her out because she's been in that area for like a month trying to figure out what her next moves are, and there was nobody coming, and she's had gear that she sort of kind of gathered through the time being there to try to protect herself. So she said, I can, I've been here for a month, so I kind of know, some of the places that we can go to kind of stay safe. So as they're doing that, one of the helmets starts malfunctioning, and they go into a little area, and it's a little safe space, kind of a closet type thing where the air isn't as bad. And because they've got air monitors on their gear to kind of say, okay, the air in this area isn't as bad as it is over there. So the guy pulls the helmet off. They're trying to fix it. Meanwhile, you got zombies that are swarming here and there. They're trying to fend them off. They finally get his helmet, and then Boss's whole system, like his whole suit, basically just goes and powers down. So he's laying there for a good 5 minutes, like literally just dying as the whole suit isn't protecting him at all, and he's in the middle of this kind of looks like pipes. It's sort of like the underground of like a building or something. So there's just kind of pipes everywhere and steam and all this other stuff. So he's in there trying to die. His suit finally after about 5 minutes kind of like reactivates, and they all kind of get out of that area. As they're kind of navigating, another one of the guys kind of is looking around, and this tentacle thing kind of grabs him and like literally stabs him right in the head and kills him. As they're trying to get the group back together, this happens. The guy's helmet falls off and it goes flying. Goodman grabs that helmet and puts it on so that she can breathe a little bit better and kind of interact with the guys as far as the communications between the guys. So they're kind of like, well, we got to leave him because his helmet's off, so he's dead anyway. So we can't sit there and mourn over him because there's things out here that we don't know. And the tentacle thing is the first thing that you see that's not just like a straight up zombie. So it's like, okay, you kind of know that there's something else that's out there because they keep referring to like, I feel like there's something else that's out there and it's not just zombies. And later you kind of see what it is. So they're kind of going through things and they're navigating kind of different areas. They see a body on the ground, and that is Goodman's brother, and he had a backpack, and they had grabbed some gear from her brother's backpack, including a key. And it's a key to a truck. So it's like, okay, if we can get this truck, we can get the heck out of here, or at least get to a safe spot so that we can try to find something. So they're sitting there trying to figure out this truck that was like in this warehouse and stuff, and they put a battery in it. And Goodman's like, well, as far as I knew, it just needed a truck, and the truck wouldn't start, of course. And it's like they're trying to not make a whole lot of noise because all these things are out there, and it's like they don't want to attract any kind of reason for these things to come at them. Then all of a sudden you see this big freaking thing like climbing the ceiling, and and that's the thing that has the tentacles. It's sort of like a super humanoid zombie looking thing that's got the tentacle is its tongue that goes out, I don't know, 10 feet, 20 feet, something like that. And that's the first time that you see something other than like the tongue, like, piercing through somebody's skin or something like that. So Goodman isn't excited about trying to chase this thing down, but you don't really have a choice because this thing is basically hunting them. So as they're trying to navigate the, one by one, this monster thing keeps attacking the group and taking them out one by one. Then Boss is um, fighting these zombies. He gets bit. He has to take a vax. He wasn't to the point where like the other guy was, where it was kind of like. Boss just took it right away so that it wasn't going to affect him as much. So then, the first time that they attack the monster, they see that it's looking for blood. That's what's sort of powering this thing up. And it's got this scream that like pierces everybody's ears, so they can't do anything because it's screaming so loud. It's like ah. So it's like every time it gets into any kind of trouble, it screams, and it basically prevents people from doing that. So Boss realizes after the last guy died, a friend of his dies, that the thing wants blood. So he said, well, why don't we set up a trap where we can have the whole room a trap, where we can have lights pop on, we can have some like grenades and bombs in place, so if this thing comes into a room, maybe we can trap it. So the thing comes in a room. After it follows Goodman, into the room, this thing is going crazy. Boss shoots it 4 or 5 times. It kind of hurts it a little bit. Then it starts screaming. It takes out the lights. So the lights go down, and Goodman tries to attack it. It slams Goodman. Boss tries to attack this thing. It slams Boss, and they are struggling with this thing, and Goodman grabs one of the vaxes and slams it into this monster looking thing, and it's not all the way in. Like, it's not the push tab is not all the way in. It's literally just kind of hanging out like this. And then Jay White's character has a cool catch line, like, vaccines kill, but I do, or something like that. It's like, I mean, you need to have a cool catch line, especially if you're going to be fighting some like humanoid looking things. And he headbutts the vaccine. The vaccine goes into the monster, and this thing's just going, ah! Like, it's going nuts because it can't take the vaccine. Because they were wondering why the monster would stop on Boss, but then he would stop on one of the other guys that was vaccinated. And what it was is it needed the pure blood. Anything that was put into the blood, it couldn't take. So that's why it wasn't trying to suck the blood of Boss at the time that he was injured, is because it had the vaccine in it. So then that's why she grabbed it and she put the vaccine, and then he headbutted the thing to get the vaccine into the actual, like, piercing the plate of the monster. And then some of the, like, one of the bombs started to ignite because there was gas and stuff. So they hit this thing, they run out of the building, and boom! So they hit it with the vaccine, and it was going crazy, and it was dying, and then all of a sudden this explosion happens and takes it out. And then Boss and Goodman go up to this valley, or go up to this mountain, and then they see like a helicopter like right overhead, and they were saved, and that's how it ended. So it was kind of a fun movie. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like I said, it reminded me so much of the first Predator, and I was a huge fan of the Predator. With Arnold Schwarzenegger and back in the day, when I was a little kid, I was watching it. It was like, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. That group that was trapped in the in the jungles. This was kind of the same thing, where they were kind of trapped in this area. It's like a city with all these zombies, and then they had this like super humanoid looking thing. So it reminded me a lot of the first Predator, which I loved. So this movie was pretty solid. Like, I didn't have any too many nitpicks on it. There was a few little story points was like, okay, that's kind of whatever. But as far as an action movie, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. It was only like an hour and a half, so it wasn't too long. It was like, come on, like how much could you be messing with this humanoid, or how much you could be messing with these zombies? So I thought it was a pretty good movie. I'll probably give it maybe a 7 out of 10. So it's like, it had a little bit of cheesy moments to it, but it kind of knew what the movie kind of knew what it was. There was no overacting. There was no like, there was one of the catchphrases at the end, but there wasn't like a full on catchphrase throughout the whole thing where it's like, come on, dude, like, like there was no moments where the guys are sleeping with a girl and all of a sudden this humanoid comes out of nowhere and just starts killing people. So there was none of that. It was pretty much they were in this area. They were trying to get these vaccines. Then they were trying to leave. They were having communication problems, and then one by one they were being picked off by this thing. And then at the end, the heroes win after getting their butt kicked for a while. So it was kind of like, I don't know if they can actually beat this thing. But then they finally did, and then the helicopter came over. So it had a happy ending with 2 survivors left. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was it was a pretty solid action movie. So, but thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. And like and subscribe, and let's talk about movies.